take away all the niggas that's over 60 years old speaking on TV, they will never bring up Michael Jordan because he's not real today.
Yeah.
He's real, like we know who he is, but the only people who bring him up is when LeBron James name get. That's the only reason Michael Jordan is relevant.
Yep.
Yeah, three-time NBA All-Star Gilbert Arenas just stepped in front of a live microphone and pulled out a single date that completely rewires the entire greatest of all-time debate. That date is October 31st, 1994. At that moment in history, six-time Finals MVP Michael Jordan had only 3 championships to his name, just 3. And yet the city of Chicago had already decided to permanently declare him the best there ever was, casting that declaration in bronze outside the United Center. They unveiled that statue to the world the very next day. 3 rings, not 6, 3. And here is Gil's core argument. If the title of greatest was given before the resume was even finished, then what every diehard Jordan fan is actually defending right now is not basketball. It is the Nike Air Jordan brand.
LeBron James in this decade, you take away all the niggas that's over 60 years old speaking on TV, they will never bring up Michael Jordan because he's not real today.
Yeah.
He's real, like we know who he is, but the only people who bring him up is when LeBron James name get. That's the only reason Michael Jordan is relevant.
Yep. They need somebody to combat that.
That right there is the opening shot of a much larger war. And believe me, it gets uglier from here. Gilbert Arenas is not some hot take blogger trying to go viral. This is a 3-time NBA All-Star. He averaged 29 points per game during the 2005 and 2006 seasons. He grew up worshiping Michael Jordan just like millions of others. That part matters enormously, because what you are about to hear is not coming from somebody who hates Jordan. It is coming from a man who watched the throne from up close, studied it for years, and eventually concluded that the person sitting on that throne was placed there by hands that were not the basketball gods.
The GOAT has to change. The GOAT has to change because when was the last time Jordan was Jordan? Most of the people who defend Jordan never seen a nigga in real life.
Yep.
The GOAT has to change. That is the exact phrase he said to millions of people on camera. The very first receipt that Gil pulls out is the one that sets the comment section on fire every single time. He looks dead into the camera lens and tells every single Jordan defender who was born after 1988 to be quiet.
No, Jordan, shut up.
Facts.
Right.
You don't know Michael fucking Jordan?
Yeah.
If you was born in 88, you don't know Michael fucking Jordan. You don't know what you was watching at 11 years old, dog. Shut up.
If you were born in 1988, Gil says you do not actually know Michael Jordan. You watched the second three-peat with 11-year-old eyes. You watched a man who was already a step slower than the player who burned through the league in 1988 and 1989 alongside Scottie Pippen. Gil's claim is that the massive army of Jordan defenders flooding the internet are not defending the actual player. They are defending a highlight reel. They are defending a Nike commercial. And LeBron James is exposing that lie in real time because LeBron played at age 39. He played at age 40. He kept producing championship runs, the Miami Heat in 2012 and 2013, the Cleveland Cavaliers in 2016, and the Los Angeles Lakers in 2020. And every single time LeBron produced something new, the version of Jordan living in everyone's memory had to be polished a little brighter just to keep up, especially after the Last Dance * documentary renewed the entire wave of Jordan nostalgia back in 2020. This is where Gil stops talking and starts prosecuting the case like a
The statue
lawyer.
that's built outside the United Center and say greatest of all time, he was still playing, bro. He only had 3 rings when they built the shit. He only had 3 rings.
When he was the best player, when they gave him the number
It said greatest of all time. Dang. That was not built when he was retired.
3 rings. 3 rings, not 6. 3. Now technically the bronze plaque outside the United Center does not literally say the words greatest of all time. What it actually says is, the best there ever was, the best there ever will be. Gil is paraphrasing when he calls it the GOAT title, but the point lands either way. Those words were carved into bronze in 1994 with only 3 rings on the resume. The second three-peat was still 3 years away from happening. And then Gil drops the date again to make sure nobody misses
October
it.
31st, 1994, the statue was installed at the United Center, right? 94. So at this time,
three
rings. He was already deemed, on the statue, it says, greatest player of all time.
October 31st, 1994. On Halloween of that year, Michael Jordan was not even on an NBA roster. He was playing minor league baseball. The second three-peat had not happened yet. The Washington Wizards run had not happened yet. There was no 1997 Finals Game 5 flu game against Utah. There was no 1992 Finals shrug against Portland. None of that legendary second act had occurred. And yet, the city of Chicago had already declared him the best there ever was in permanent bronze. This is the single fact that Gil's entire argument hangs on, because if the title arrived before the resume was complete, then everything built on top of that title is built on a foundation that history did not actually pour. If the GOAT title was given to a man with 3 rings, then somebody else had to lose it first. Gil names
With
that
3
victim
rings.
directly.
89, he was the greatest man to ever touch a basketball.
Meanwhile, Kareem got 6.
See, they're only using it to keep somebody away when the person they're blocking didn't have it at all when he did it.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had 6 championships when 1989 rolled around. 6, the exact same number that Jordan would eventually finish with after his second three-peat. Kareem was the all-time leading scorer in NBA history at that time. He had 6 MVP awards, which is still the most ever. He had Finals MVP awards in 2 completely different decades. And Gil's claim is that the league and the media took the GOAT label off of Kareem's shoulders while he was still alive, while he was watching them do it, and pinned that label on a guard from North Carolina who had won exactly 3 titles at that moment. And Gil does not stop at Kareem.
You didn't use it when you removed Kareem. You didn't use it when Bill Russell got moved. Yep. You didn't use that shit against Magic Johnson and Bird. You removed these dudes from the GOAT debate because of how Jordan looked. So you cannot use it against Kobe, LeBron, and all these guys.
Bill Russell with 11 rings, moved aside. Magic Johnson with 5 rings, moved aside. Larry Bird with 3 rings, moved aside. Every single name that stood in front of the throne was quietly pushed to the side. And Gil's argument is that every Jordan fan who now refuses to give LeBron James the same consideration is doing the exact same thing the media did to Kareem back in 1989, using rings as a weapon now after ignoring them for years. Then what makes this whole episode truly dangerous is that Michael Jordan himself has spoken on the GOAT debate on camera in his own footage. And what he says does not help the Jordan fan position
whole
at
GOAT
all.
term is never going to be something that I ever will get high or low about. You know, it just doesn't exist with me.
The GOAT term doesn't exist with me. That is Michael Jordan telling you directly that the debate itself is not real to him. He waves it off like it's nothing. He calls it nothing. And then he goes even further.
I think LeBron has had an unbelievable career, and I admire him for what he's done. You know, and Kobe as well as KD and all these guys who have played in this era. I think they've elevated the game of basketball tremendously. I just don't agree when you start, trying to put one above the other.
Listen carefully to what Jordan is actually saying in that footage. He says he admires LeBron. He says LeBron has had an unbelievable career. And then he says something that cracks the entire foundation. He does not agree with putting one player above the other. That is the crack, because the entire Jordan fan position is built on putting Michael above every other player who ever lived. And the man himself is on tape saying he does not agree with the project that his own fans are running. Gil heard all of this, and then Gil dropped the line that the entire video had been building toward from the very
beginning. Once LeBron
beginning.
James is solidified, you are the GOAT, Jordan swindles. That's why niggas is like, yo, why nobody talk about Kobe being the great? Because he got surpassed already. Yep. There's no point in talking about number 3. It's only 1 and 2 now.
Yep.
Jordan swindled, past tense, done, over. Gil is not saying Jordan was a fraud as a player. He's not saying Jordan could not play. What he is saying is that the bronze statue, the GOAT label, the cultural placement above Kareem and Russell and Magic, all of it was taken by a man who did not have the resume to take it at the time it was given. And once LeBron James gets that final stamp of approval. Especially after that historic 2016 Cleveland comeback from a 3-1 deficit against the Golden State Warriors, Jordan does not simply slide down to number 2. He gets erased. Kobe Bryant is the cautionary tale here, already surpassed, already silent in the conversation. And Gil is saying Jordan is next in line for that same
Number
erasure.
3, get the fuck on out of here.
I know what he got to do. He got to change his name.
All right, bro. For
He
the
ain't gonna change them stats.
Get a new name.
Get a new name. Get a new name. That is the exact line that gave this video its title. Gil is not saying Michael Jordan the human being will be forgotten. What he is saying is that the name Michael Jordan, the Nike Air Jordan brand, the trademark, the cultural shorthand for the greatest basketball player who ever lived, that specific name is going to fade. And if this was just Gilbert Arenas talking, it would be one man's opinion. But Reggie Miller, a Hall of Famer who actually played against Michael Jordan in the playoffs, said something almost identical.
Has the greatest career.
I say that all the time.
He has the greatest career. But Mike is the best.
Basketball player ever.
But LeBron has the greatest career. And I think why a lot of old heads want to dog out LeBron is because they were never as good as he is this late in their career.
Right.
And they want to get on him for that.
Yeah.
LeBron at 22 years in, at 41, 40, whatever he is, and is about ready to be first or second team All-NBA.
25, 8, and 8.
As old guys, they were never, call them all out.
Some of them weren't this good in their prime.
That's the thing.
Straight up. They
Reggie Miller is not a LeBron stan. Reggie Miller spent the 1990s trying to punch Michael Jordan in the mouth. He wears the scars of that era like a uniform, and he is saying out loud that LeBron has the greatest career and that the men who attack LeBron are doing it because LeBron is exposing how badly they declined in their 30s. That is Gil's exact argument coming from a completely different mouth, from a man who was on the court the entire time. And then Kevin Garnett, a 15-time All-Star and NBA champion, a Hall of Famer, dropped the cleanest version of the fade sentiment that exists
I don't
on
want to
tape
be in
anywhere.
223 watching something of the past. I want to be in 223 watching something of the future. And that's what I'm embracing now.
The past is happening right now.
Man, listen, it's happening.
He's dominating right now.
The past is
The past is happening right now. That is what KG says, the era of nostalgia, the era where the 1990s is the only era that matters, where Michael Jordan is the only name that matters. KG says that entire era is being replaced in real time by a man who is still playing basketball. Gilbert Arenas said Michael Jordan is not real today. He said the GOAT has to change. He said the statue was built way too early. He said Kareem got robbed. He said Jordan swindled everyone. He said it on camera. He said it to millions of people, and the only voice loud enough to push back has been the voice of Michael Jordan himself, admitting that LeBron has had an unbelievable career. You can hate Gilbert Arenas if you want. You can think he is bitter. You can think he is just chasing platforms. You can scroll past this video and write something cruel in the comments and never come back. But the date is the date. October 31st, 1994, 3 rings. The best there ever was in bronze outside the United Center. That part is not Gilbert Arenas' opinion. That part is a fact that you can drive to Chicago and stand in front of with your own 2 eyes. If you think Gilbert Arenas is dead wrong and Michael Jordan is still the greatest basketball player who ever lived and always will be, hit that like button right now and let the algorithm know. If you think Gil has a point and the GOAT slot is about to permanently belong to LeBron James, drop a comment and tell us when you think it becomes official. And if you want more breakdowns exactly like this one, the receipts, the legends, the cold side of basketball history that nobody else is showing you, subscribe to Hoop Central TV. We are not done with this debate, not even close.